The debate surrounding the Cleveland Browns quarterback competition has erupted into one of the most compelling storylines of the young NFL season. What began as a relatively quiet preseason contest between rookie Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur, Sanders has now spiraled into a full-blown national conversation, drawing in some of the loudest and most influential voices in sports media. From Colin Cowherd to Stephen A. Smith, everyone has something to say, and none of it is holding back. At the heart of the matter lies a simple but polarizing question. Who should be the Browns starter? The undersized but steady Dillon Gabriel, or the dynamic, headline-generating Shedeur Sanders? It was Colin Cowherd who first lit the match on this firestorm. After witnessing Dillon Gabriel's debut, Cowherd was blunt. He admitted he had two strong opinions. One, that Gabriel's size is an undeniable liability, and two, that Shedeur Sanders has been underappreciated, even underdrafted. For Cowherd, it wasn't about the stats on paper, it was about the feel of the game. He pointed out that in both practice sessions and preseason outings, Shedeur outplayed Gabriel. Even when both quarterbacks split time, Cowherd argued that you couldn't claim Gabriel looked better. If anything, the tape told the opposite story. His conclusion was stark. If the Browns' offense is going to be built around Dillon Gabriel, then this team could be in serious trouble. Cowherd's critique didn't stop with Gabriel's limitations. He pivoted to a larger point about how NFL teams, particularly cautious general managers, tend to view quarterbacks. According to him, executives often prefer players who are great, but not flashy. Players who are consistent, disciplined, even boring. The kind of quarterbacks who won't dominate headlines, won't stir controversy, and won't shoulder the crushing burden of sky-high fan expectations. In Cowherd's eyes, Gabriel represented that safe option. Reliable enough, unremarkable enough, and quiet enough to fly under the radar. Shedeur, by contrast, carried the aura of a star. He had charisma, swagger, and the ability to electrify crowds. That kind of presence excites fans, but it also ramps up the pressure on a franchise desperate for stability. Cowherd essentially argued that the Browns opted for comfort over fireworks. Yet even as he explained that logic, he made his own preference abundantly clear. He would take Shedeur Sanders over Dillon Gabriel without hesitation. But if Cowherd's words rattled the debate, Browns GM Andrew Berry's comments threw it into full-blown chaos. After watching Sanders deliver a commanding preseason performance, Berry surprised many by showering the rookie with praise. His words weren't the cold, measured evaluations of a general manager. They sounded almost paternal. He spoke of being proud of Shedeur, admiring his composure, and appreciating the way he operated on the field. Though Berry acknowledged that no player is perfect, the tone of his comments suggested genuine belief in Sanders' potential. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. Was Shedeur not only proving himself on the field, but also winning over the very executives who had initially passed on him? For Browns fans, that revelation stirred fresh hope. And for Dillon Gabriel, it raised new questions about how secure his place really was. If Colin Cowherd provided the spark and Andrew Berry poured on the gasoline, it was Stephen A. Smith who fanned the flames into an inferno. Never one to mince words, Smith declared in no uncertain terms that Shedeur Sanders is the better quarterback. He acknowledged Dillon Gabriel's effort and credited him with moments of poise. But he dismissed the idea that Gabriel matched Sanders' overall impact. In Smith's view, what separates Shedeur is his ability to thrive under intense pressure. The spotlight, the chatter, the critics, it all fuels him. While others might crumble, Sanders shines brighter. That quality, Smith argued, makes him the superior choice, especially for a team like the Browns that has lived through decades of quarterback turmoil. But Smith's analysis went beyond performance. He took aim directly at Gabriel's comments about Sanders, which he blasted as both reckless and idiotic. For Smith, Gabriel's remarks weren't just unnecessary, they were damaging. A quarterback, he argued, should be locked in on his own development, his own execution. To veer off course and take a jab at a teammate, directly or indirectly, was to invite chaos into the locker room. Smith made it clear that by opening his mouth, Gabriel had created a problem that didn't need to exist. Worse yet, he argued that Gabriel's words overshadowed his positive plays. A solid preseason performance was now being second-guessed because of a careless soundbite. Smith also pointed out the double standard that exists between Gabriel and Sanders. If Shedeur had made similar remarks about Gabriel, the backlash would have been merciless. Fans, analysts, and the media would have pounced, painting Sanders as immature or entitled. Yet Gabriel, with his quieter demeanor and smaller profile, seemed to escape the same level of scrutiny. That, Smith argued, was unfair, and it only highlighted the extra pressure Shedeur carries as a young quarterback with a famous last name, and sky-high expectations. In Smith's view, that variability to handle the weight of those expectations is precisely what makes Sanders more valuable. So where does that leave the Browns? On one hand, Dillon Gabriel represents steadiness, the safe hands of a player who won't create unnecessary waves. On the other, Shedeur Sanders represents possibility, a chance at something bigger, more dynamic, and more exciting. The choice isn't just about football, it's about identity. Does Cleveland want to play it safe, or are they ready to take a risk on a quarterback who could transform the franchise, but will also bring the heat of constant attention? This debate is no longer confined to team meetings and practice fields. It has become a national storyline, dissected on television sets, podcasts, and social media feeds across the country. Fans are already taking sides, echoing the words of Cowherd and Stephen A., arguing over whether the Browns made the right call or whether Sanders deserves to leapfrog Gabriel into the starting role. And perhaps most intriguingly, both quarterbacks know it. Every snap, every throw, every word they utter to the press now feels magnified, weighed against the swirling narratives built around them. What happens next could shape not just the Browns' season, but the trajectory of both young quarterbacks' careers. Will Gabriel rise above the criticism and prove himself as a reliable starter, or will Sanders' charisma and playmaking force the Browns' hand sooner than anyone expected? One thing is clear, this is no ordinary quarterback competition. It's a clash of styles, personalities, and philosophies, amplified by the voices of some of sports media's biggest names. And as long as the debate rages, all eyes will remain locked on Cleveland. So now, the question is yours. Who do you believe deserves the edge? Dillon Gabriel, the quiet and steady hand, or Shedeur Sanders, the bold and dynamic talent? Do you agree with Colin Cowherd that Gabriel's reliability may ultimately serve the Browns better, or do you side with Stephen A. Smith, who insists Sanders is the better quarterback under pressure? And how much do you think off-field comments and media narratives truly impact a player's career trajectory? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of the ongoing quarterback drama, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another story. This debate is just getting started, and the next chapter promises to be even more explosive.